Amelia stood frozen in the control chamber of her ship, the Swift Claw. Her four eyes widened as she watched the human female on the security feed. The small pink creature was standing calmly in front of the most dangerous predator on Amelia's home world. The crimson-scaled dragon towered over the human, its 6 legs planted firmly on the metal floor of the cargo bay. The creature had escaped during the jump through hyperspace, and Amelia had been certain she would need to jettison the entire bay. But then the human engineer had volunteered to help. Amelia had expected blood and violence. Instead, she was witnessing something impossible. The human, called Kate, was making soft sounds with her mouth and holding out her hand toward the beast. The dragon lowered its massive head, sniffing at the tiny fingers that could be bitten off in an instant. Impossible. Kate was touching the dragon, stroking the scales between its eyes. The beast that had killed hundreds of Zalarian warriors was purring. Like a pet, Amelia tapped the communication device on her wrist. She needed to understand. "How are you doing that?" she whispered. "That creature has slaughtered entire hunting parties on my world." Kate smiled but kept her eyes on the dragon. "On Earth, we have a saying that every creature wants 3 things. Food, safety, and love. Your dragon here just needed all 3. Amelia watched as Kate slowly guided the dragon back toward its containment unit. The beast followed like an obedient child. "You, humans are strange," Amelia said. Her mandibles clicked in confusion. "Our scientists have studied these creatures for generations. We use shock prods and neural restraints. You just talk to it. Sometimes the simplest approach works best," Kate replied. She was now inside the containment unit with the dragon rubbing its belly as it rolled onto its back. "Your people tried to dominate it. Mine tried to understand it first." The cargo bay doors hissed open, and Tina, the ship's security officer, rushed. In weapon drawn, she skidded to a halt at the sight before her. "Captain, should I?" Tina began raising her pulse rifle. "No," Amelia commanded, holding up a clawed hand. "The human has control." Amelia left the control room and made her way down to the cargo bay. Her heart pounded in her chest as she approached the human and dragon. Kate was now sitting beside the creature, reading something from a small device in her hand. "What are you doing now?" Amelia asked. "Reading it a story," Kate said without looking up. "Dragons in our mythology love riddles and stories. This one seems to as well." "You read stories to a killing machine," Kate shrugged. "Everything responds to kindness, Captain, even killing machines." Amelia felt something shift inside her. She had spent her entire military career fighting, dominating, conquering. That was the Zalarian way. But here was this human from a supposedly lesser species showing a completely different kind of strength. "Your species has been on our galactic radar for only 50 Earth years," Amelia said slowly. "Yet you continue to surprise us. We thought you were weak because you avoid conflict when possible. Now I see perhaps that is your greatest strength." "We fight when we need to," Kate said, looking up. "Finally. But we prefer other solutions first." The dragon rumbled and nudged Kate with its snout. She laughed and scratched under its jaw. "We arrive at the science station tomorrow," Amelia said. They were expecting a sedated specimen for study. Kate's face hardened. "And now," Amelia surprised herself with her next words, "and now I think perhaps we should be studying your methods instead. Clearly there is much we can learn." The dragon had fallen asleep, its massive head resting in Kate's lap. Continued to stroke its scales rhythmically. "Will you teach me?" Amelia asked, sitting down carefully on the floor nearby. "How to approach without domination." Kate smiled. "Lesson 1. Sit at their level, not above them. You just did that instinctively." "Did?" Amelia realized she had never sat on the floor in front of a subordinate before. Such a thing would be considered weak in Zalarian culture. "See, you humans think you're learning from us, but sometimes I think we're just remembering things we've forgotten," Kate said. For the next several hours, Kate taught Amelia about Earth concepts like empathy, cooperation, and mutual respect. Ideas that seemed foreign to Zalarian military culture, but somehow resonated deep within her. When the ship's meal time arrived, Amelia invited Kate to dine in the captain's quarters, an honor rarely given to non-Zalarians, especially humans who were still considered primitive by many in the galactic community. Kate brought a small container of food for the dragon, who followed them through the corridors, causing crew members to press themselves against the walls in fear. "It needs a name," Kate said as they ate. "You can't just keep calling it the dragon." Amelia tilted her head. "It is a specimen, not a companion." "Everything deserves a name," Kate insisted. "How about Ruby for those beautiful red scales?" The dragon perked up at the sound, making a trilling noise that Amelia had never heard from its species before. "I think she likes it," Kate said with a grin. "She." Amelia questioned, "You know its gender?" Kate nodded. "Females see the crest patterns and the way the tail tapers. It's different from the males in your research files." Amelia was impressed. The human had studied Zellarian research and noticed details many of her own scientists had missed as they ate. Amelia learned more about Earth and its strange customs. Kate spoke of oceans and mountains, of cities and farms, of cultures and languages so diverse it made Amelia's head spin. The Zellarian Empire prided itself on uniformity and military precision. Diversity was seen as chaotic and inefficient, yet Kate described it as Earth's greatest strength. "When we joined the Galactic Alliance, many species thought we would crumble from within," Kate explained. "They didn't understand that our differences made us stronger, more adaptable." "But how do you maintain order with so many different viewpoints?" Amelia asked. "We don't always," Kate admitted. "We argue, we debate, we compromise. It's messy, but it works. We call it democracy." The concept seemed alien to Amelia, but fascinating. She found herself wanting to know more about these humans and their strange ways. As the night cycle began, Ruby the dragon curled up in a corner of Amelia's quarters. Kate had fashioned a bed from spare blankets, and the creature seemed content. "She'll sleep through the night," Kate assured her. "Dragons are diurnal like humans. They sleep when it's dark. You will stay here as well." Amelia offered to monitor the beast. Kate nodded gratefully. "Thank you, Captain. I appreciate your trust. Amelia realized she did trust this human. An unusual feeling for a Zellarian captain, especially toward a species so new to galactic society, as Kate settled into a sleeping pod. Amelia retreated to her meditation chamber. She needed to think tomorrow they would reach the science station, where her superiors expected her to deliver a sedated dragon for experimentation and eventual harvesting. Now she was considering something else, entirely, something that could change the relationship between their species. The Zellarian Empire had always seen humans as useful, but ultimately dispensable. Their technology was primitive, their military small, their territory limited. But perhaps they had something more valuable than advanced weapons or vast fleets. Perhaps they had wisdom the Zellarians had lost during their centuries of conquest. Amelia accessed the ship's database and began reading everything available about Earth and its history. She was surprised to find accounts of humans forming bonds with dangerous creatures on their own world. Wolves, bears, even massive ocean predators called sharks. Sometimes these relationships began with fear and violence, but often evolved into something mutually beneficial. Could the same be possible with the dragons of Zellaria? The creatures whose scales powered their fastest ships, whose harvesting had become an industry vital to the Empire's expansion. Amelia stayed awake through the night cycle, studying Earth's history of conservation and coexistence. She found herself both troubled and inspired. Could there be another way? A better way? When the morning cycle began, she returned to her quarters to find Kate awake and playing a game with Ruby. The dragon was following a small light Kate projected from a device, chasing it around the room with surprising grace for such a large creature. "Good morning, Captain," Kate said cheerfully. "Ruby and I were just getting some exercise." "Ruby and I," Amelia repeated. The casual way Kate referred to herself and the dragon as equals was still strange to her. "We reach the science station in 3 hours," Amelia said. "I must report to my superiors soon." Kate's smile faded. "What will you tell them?" Amelia hesitated. "I am still considering my options." "Whatever you decide, I hope you'll let me continue working with Ruby," Kate said. "I think we're making real progress understanding her species." Amelia nodded. though she knew such a request would be unusual. Her superiors expected results, not research, but something had changed in her during the night as she studied Earth's history, something that made her question centuries of Zalarian tradition. The science station loomed ahead, a massive structure orbiting the gas giant Zalara Prime. Its curved metal arms housed laboratories, research facilities, and living quarters for over 2,000 scientists, all dedicated to advancing the Empire's technology and power. Amelia stood on the bridge watching as her crew prepared for docking. Her second-in-command, Maya, approached with a data pad. "The research team is eager to receive the specimen, Captain," Maya said. "They've prepared a special containment facility." Amelia took the pad and reviewed the details. The facility was essentially a prison designed to restrain and sedate the dragon, while researchers harvested its scales. The process was described in clinical terms, but Amelia now recognized it for what it was: torture. "Has a dragon ever survived the harvesting process?" Amelia asked, though she already knew the answer. Maya looked surprised by the question. "No, Captain. The procedure requires complete extraction. The specimen cannot survive." Amelia handed back the pad. "Inform the research team there has been a change. Our delivery will be delayed." "Delayed, Captain." Maya's mandibles clicked in confusion. "But we've arrived on schedule." "Nevertheless, tell them we require 24 hours before transfer. The specimen has shown unexpected behaviors that warrant further study." Maya hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, Captain." She turned to leave, then paused. "The human engineer. She has something to do with this delay." It wasn't a question, Amelia noted. "That will be all, Maya." When her second-in-command had gone, Amelia left the bridge and made her way back to her quarters where Kate and Ruby were waiting. She found the human sitting cross-legged on the floor, the dragon curled around her like a protective shell. "The science team is expecting delivery," Amelia said without preamble. "I've delayed it for 24 hours. Kate looked up, hope in her eyes. "You've reconsidered?" "I am considering alternatives," Amelia corrected. "But I must be practical. The scales of these creatures power our fastest ships. Without them, our fleet would be at a disadvantage, our colonies vulnerable." Kate nodded thoughtfully. "On Earth, we faced similar problems. Whales were hunted nearly to extinction for their oil, which we used for lamps. Then we discovered alternatives." "Alternatives?" Amelia echoed. "What if there's another way to get the scales?" Kate suggested. "Ruby has been shedding small ones naturally. Look." She held out her hand, showing several crimson scales, each the size of a fingernail. Amelia took one, examining it closely. "These are too small to be useful." "Maybe," Kate admitted. "But what if dragons shed larger scales naturally at certain times? Or what if they can be harvested without killing the dragon?" "Have your scientists ever tried?" Amelia had to admit they hadn't. The Empire had always taken what it needed without consideration for sustainability. It was their way. "I would need evidence that such methods could work," Amelia said. "My superiors will not change centuries of practice based on speculation," Kate smiled. "Then let's give them evidence. I need access to your research labs." For the next several hours, Kate worked alongside the ship's science officer, Clara, examining Ruby and the scales she naturally shed. They discovered something remarkable. The shed scales contained twice the energy concentration of harvested scales, Clara explained, showing Amelia the results. "It appears that when the scale is ready to be shed, it creates a final energy surge before detachment. That's why ships with fresh harvested scales often report energy fluctuations," Kate added. "The scales aren't ready to be used. They're being taken too early." Amelia studied the data. "This would mean that killing dragons is not only cruel but inefficient," Kate finished. "You could establish dragon sanctuaries where they live naturally, shedding scales that your people collect. It would provide a continuous sustainable supply rather than requiring new captures and killings." The idea was revolutionary and dangerous. It challenged the very foundations of Zalarian resource gathering, but the evidence was compelling. "I need to present this to the science team," Amelia decided. But they will want to see proof. Ruby is your proof, Kate said. Let me demonstrate for them. Amelia hesitated. The risk was significant. If the scientists rejected Kate's findings, they would insist on taking Ruby immediately. Amelia would be expected to comply or face consequences for insubordination. But the potential reward, a new sustainable relationship with the dragons, could change everything. Very well, she agreed. We will meet with the science team's leadership, but Ruby stays on the ship until I give the order otherwise. Otherwise, she stays with me, Kate said firmly. I won't let them hurt her. Amelia was surprised by the human's boldness. You would defy an entire empire for one creature, wouldn't you? Kate asked, if it was the right thing to do. The question lingered in Amelia's mind as she arranged for the meeting. Once it would have seemed absurd. Now she wasn't so sure. 3 hours later, the ship's conference room held 5 of the station's top researchers, all Zalarians, of high rank. They listened with skepticism as Kate presented her findings. This data is preliminary at best, said the lead scientist, Zara. We cannot restructure our entire energy infrastructure based on the shedding patterns of one captive specimen, but you could begin trials, Kate argued. Compare the energy output of naturally shed scales versus harvested ones. Test my theory. The human speaks out of turn. Another scientist muttered. Amelia stepped forward. The human speaks at my invitation and her findings warrant investigation. If she is correct, we could increase energy production while creating a sustainable resource. The scientists exchanged glances. Amelia knew what they were thinking. A captain questioning established practices was unusual, possibly dangerous, but her rank demanded respect. We would need to examine the creature, Zara said finally. Bring it to our facility. No, Kate said immediately. Your facility is designed for restraint and harvesting. I've seen the plans. Ruby comes nowhere near it. The scientists bristled at the human's defiance, but Amelia raised a hand. We will conduct initial tests aboard my ship. You may send a team of 3, no more. The creature remains under the human's supervision. It was a compromise that satisfied no one but Zara reluctantly agreed. Very well, Captain, 3 hours. We will need samples, blood tests, scale analysis. You will have them, Amelia assured her. But the creature will not be sedated or restrained unless absolutely necessary. When the scientists had left, Kate turned to Amelia. Thank you for backing me up. I backed the evidence, Amelia corrected. But we must be prepared if these tests fail. Kate nodded, understanding the unspoken warning. They won't, I'm sure, of it. The testing began in the ship's cargo bay, which had been converted into a temporary lab. Ruby, surprisingly cooperative, allowed the scientists to scan her take samples and even remove several loose scales, all under Kate's watchful eye. Thor, energy readings are remarkable, one scientist admitted. These shed scales show potential output 30% higher than our current supply, and they're completely regenerative. Kate pointed out, this dragon could produce 50 to 60 scales. Per Earth month, based on your current fleet needs, that's enough to power 3 cruisers. Amelia watched as the scientist's skepticism slowly gave way to curiosity, then to excitement. As the evidence mounted, it became clear Kate's theory was correct. Naturally shed dragon scales were not only more powerful, but could provide a continuous renewable energy source. When the testing ended, Zara approached Amelia. Your human may have discovered something significant, Captain, but we will need more extensive research-controlled environments, multiple specimens, sanctuaries, Amelia suggested, not laboratories where dragons live naturally under observation. Zara considered this an unorthodox approach, but perhaps viable. A pilot program could be established. The High Command would need to approve. I will speak with them, Amelia said with more confidence than she felt. Challenging the Empire's practices was risky even for a decorated captain, but she now believed it was necessary. When the scientists had returned to their station, Amelia found Kate in her quarters, Ruby curled beside her. They're considering your proposal, Amelia told her, a sanctuary instead of a laboratory. Kate's face lit up. Really, that's amazing. It is preliminary. Amelia, Cautioned the High Command must approve, and there are many in the Empire who will resist change. But it's a start, Kate said optimistically. A chance to show a better way. Amelia sat down beside the human watching, as Ruby nuzzled against Kate's. And how did you know it would work? The scales, the energy, everything? I didn't, Kate admitted. But on Earth we've learned that nature usually has elegant solutions if we look for them. Most creatures evolve efficient systems. Waste is rare in natural processes. The concept was so simple yet profound, Amelia wondered how her people, with all their scientific advancement, had missed it. They had been so focused on taking. They never considered working with nature instead of against it. The High Command will want to meet you, Amelia said, to hear your proposal directly. Kate's eyes widened. Me, a human addressing the Zilarian High Command. Is that a problem? No, it's an honor, Kate said. But unusual, your people don't typically value human input. These are unusual times, Amelia replied. And you have proven yourself worthy of respect. As they talked, Ruby suddenly lifted her head, alert. Her nostrils flared, and she made a low rumbling sound in her throat. What is it? Kate asked, stroking the dragon's neck. Amelia's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of distress among Zilarians. Override codes from Central Command meant someone had gone above the science team directly to military leadership. How long? Amelia asked into her communicator. They're preparing. To board now, Captain. Maya replied. 20 guards armed with neural disruptors. Kate looked alarmed. Neural disruptors will kill Ruby. Her nervous system can't handle that kind of shock. Amelia made a quick decision. Maya, initiate departure sequence. Get us away from the station, Captain. Maya sounded shocked. That would be a direct violation of, do it now, Amelia ordered. I take full responsibility. She turned to Kate. We need to move Ruby somewhere safe. The cargo bay is the first place they'll... Look, Kate was already on her feet, guiding Ruby toward the door. Where can we go? The emergency shuttle bay. Amelia decided. It's isolated and secured. I can lock it down with my command codes. They moved quickly through the corridors, Ruby following. Kate like a shadow. Crew members flattened themselves against walls as they passed, some looking confused, others afraid. The ship lurched slightly as engines engaged. Maya. Amelia called into her communicator. Status. We're disengaging from the station. Captain. Maya replied, her voice tense. Station security is demanding explanation. Shall I open a channel? No, Amelia said. Maintain communications blackout. Set course for the outer system. Maximum speed. When they reached the shuttle bay, Amelia sealed the doors behind them. Ruby seemed agitated, sensing the tension. She paced the small space, her tail swishing nervously. What now? Kate asked. They'll track the ship. Yes, Amelia agreed. But that will give us time to think. Kate looked at her with newfound respect. You're risking everything, your career, your freedom. Why? Amelia considered the question. She had served the Empire loyally for decades, never questioning orders or traditions. Until now. Because you showed me another way. She said finally. A better way, and once seen, it cannot be unseen. The ship's intercom crackled. Captain. It was Clara, the science officer. Security forces boarded before we could fully disengage. 5 guards are on the main deck. Maya is stalling them, but they have authorization to take control of the ship. Amelia accessed a nearby console, bringing up the ship's internal security feed. 5 Zilarian guards in full combat armor were indeed on the main deck. More would follow. We need a plan, Kate said, watching over Amelia's shoulder. Could we reason with them? Show them the research? They are not scientists, Amelia replied. They follow orders. The order is to seize the dragon. Nothing else matters. Kate stroked Ruby's neck thoughtfully. What if we gave them what they want? What do you mean? A dragon, Kate clarified, but not this one. Amelia tilted her head, confused. We have only one dragon. Kate smiled, that peculiar human smile that suggested an unconventional idea, but they Don't know what Ruby looks like. Not exactly, the reports would just say a red dragon specimen. Understanding dawned on Amelia. You want to substitute another creature, but what nothing else in our inventory matches a dragon's description. We don't need a real substitute, Kate explained. Just something that looks close enough on their scanners to buy us time. She pointed to the shuttle. These emergency vessels have holographic distress beacons, right? Designed to make the shuttle appear larger, to rescue ships. Yes, Amelia confirmed. Standard emergency protocol. Could we reprogram one? Kate asked. To emit a dragon-sized heat and motion signature, Amelia considered it possible. The technology is similar to our training simulations. Clara could modify a beacon, but it would only fool them temporarily. Their scanners would detect the deception eventually. We don't need forever, Kate said. Just enough time to contact someone who will listen, someone with authority to protect Ruby. The High Command. Amelia realized. But they're the ones who issued the override. Not all of them, surely. Kate pressed. There must be someone in leadership who would value scientific discovery over tradition. Someone progressive, Amelia thought quickly, scrolling through mental lists of Zellarian leadership. Her antenna twitched as she remembered Admiral Laurie. She leads the science division of the fleet. She's known for unorthodox approaches. Her support could protect us at least until a formal hearing. Perfect, Kate said. How do we contact her? My command codes allow direct communication, but we need to buy time first. Amelia activated her communicator. Clara, I need you in the shuttle bay. Bring a Type 3 distress beacon and do not tell anyone where you're going. While they waited for Clara, Kate continued to calm Ruby. The dragon seemed to understand the danger curling protectively around Kate. Every few minutes, Amelia checked the security feed. The guards were methodically searching the ship deck by deck. They would reach the shuttle bay soon. Clara arrived breathless, holding the small cylindrical beacon. Captain, what's happening? The guards, they're saying you've committed treason. I'm preventing a mistake, Amelia corrected. We need to reprogram this beacon to mimic dragon life signs. Can you do it? Clara hesitated, but her scientific curiosity won out. I think so. The base code is adaptable. What exactly do you need? As Clara worked modifying the beacon, Amelia explained their plan. Once the false signal is active, we'll place it in cargo hold 3, then release the hold's atmospheric seal. The decompression will trigger emergency protocols. Clara realized. The section will be automatically sealed and quarantined, buying you time. Exactly, Amelia confirmed. Meanwhile, I'll contact Admiral Laurie. This is dangerous, Captain, Clara warned. If it fails, I alone will bear responsibility. Amelia assured her. You and the crew were following orders. Within 30 minutes, the beacon was ready, programmed to emit heat motion and even rudimentary neural patterns that would register as a dragon on ship scanners. Amelia dispatched Clara to place it in cargo hold 3 with instructions to evacuate that section immediately afterward. Now, for Admiral Laurie, Amelia said, turning to a secure console. She entered her command codes requesting direct communication. This will take time. The Admiral could be anywhere in the system. As they waited, Kate continued working with Ruby, teaching the dragon new commands training that would help keep her calm during the crisis ahead. The bond between them was remarkable. Amelia thought even more so, considering they had met just 2 days ago. The console chimed, indicating an incoming transmission. Admiral Laurie responding. A computerized voice announced. Amelia straightened her uniform and accepted the call. A stern-faced Zellarian female appeared on screen. Her scales darker with age, her eyes sharp. With intelligence, Captain Amelia. The Admiral said, This is unexpected. I'm told your ship has broken protocol and left station without authorization. Explain. Amelia saluted. Admiral, thank you for responding. I requested this direct communication to report a scientific discovery of significant importance to the Empire One that is currently at risk. The Admiral's antenna twitched with interest. Continue. Quickly, Amelia explained their findings about dragon scales. The increased energy potential of naturally shed scales, the possibility of sustainable harvesting through sanctuaries rather than hunting. She sent the research data as she spoke. This human engineer discovered the method, Amelia concluded, gesturing to Kate, and formed an unprecedented bond with the specimen, a bond that allows for safe handling and study. Impressive if true, Admiral Laurie said, studying the data on a separate screen. But this doesn't explain your actions, Captain. Why flee the station? Station security was dispatched. To seize the dragon, Amelia explained, using neural disruptors that would have killed it before we could complete our research or demonstrate our findings. I see. The Admiral's expression was unreadable. And who authorized this security action? The override codes came from Central Command, Amelia said, but I don't know who specifically issued them. The Admiral was silent for a long moment. Then, General Beck, most likely, he oversees dragon harvesting operations, a very profitable position his family has held for generations. Your discovery threatens that position. Amelia felt a chill. General Beck was powerful with many allies in the military and government. What will you do now, Captain? Admiral Laurie asked. You cannot outrun the entire fleet. No, Admiral, Amelia agreed, but I believe this discovery warrants protection until it can be properly presented to the full High Command for the good of the Empire. Another long pause. Then, send me your coordinates, Captain. I'll dispatch my personal research vessel to rendezvous. It carries my authority. No one will interfere. Then we can discuss this discovery properly, with appropriate scientific protocols. Relief flooded through Amelia. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me yet. Admiral, Laurie warned. If your research proves false or exaggerated, I cannot protect you. The penalty for your actions would be severe. I understand, Admiral. Amelia said, the evidence will speak for itself. When the transmission ended, Kate let out a breath. Will she really help us? Admiral Laurie values knowledge above politics. Amelia said, if she believes our discovery benefits the Empire, she will support us. But we must be ready. The guards are still searching the ship. We need to hold out until the Admiral's vessel arrives. As if on cue, the ship's alarm blared. Warning: atmospheric breach in cargo hold 3 emergency protocols engaged. Clara had succeeded. The false dragon signal would now be detected in a section the guards couldn't easily access. How long until the Admiral's ship reaches us? Kate asked. Amelia worked quickly programming the escape shuttle while Kate prepared Ruby for possible evacuation. The dragon seemed to sense the urgency, remaining unusually calm as Kate fitted a makeshift harness around her massive body. How will we get from here to the shuttle if we need to escape? Kate asked, securing the last strap. The guards will be watching all corridors. Amelia pointed to a maintenance shaft barely visible in the wall. Service tunnel runs behind the main corridors, designed for repair drones, but large enough for us to crawl through. It connects directly to the shuttle bay. Kate nodded appreciatively. You've thought of everything. A captain must always have contingency plans, Amelia replied, though in truth she had never imagined using them to defy her own government. Her communication device chimed. It was Clara. Captain, the guards have discovered the deception. They've detected the beacon's signature doesn't match true dragon neural patterns. They're heading toward the shuttle bay now. Amelia's mandibles clicked rapidly. How long? Minutes, Clara warned. Maybe less. Kate was already gathering their supplies. The escape shuttle. Yes, Amelia agreed. We have no choice. She led Kate and Ruby to the maintenance shaft, opening the panel with her command code. You go first, I'll seal it behind us. The tunnel was cramped, barely wide enough for Amelia's Zilarian frame. Ruby surprised them both by compressing her body, making herself remarkably small for such a large creature. Dragons are quite flexible, Kate whispered as they crawled. Their skeletal structure allows for compression in tight spaces, a natural adaptation for cave dwelling. Even in crisis, the human's scientific curiosity remained, Amelia noted with amusement. They moved as quickly as possible through the dimly lit shaft. the distant sound of boots and shouted commands echoing through the metal walls. When they reached the shuttle bay access point, Amelia paused, listening carefully. No sounds of guards yet. They might still have a chance. She opened the panel and they emerged directly beside the escape shuttle. Quickly, Amelia urged. The launch sequence takes 40 seconds. They boarded the small vessel, Ruby barely fitting through. The entrance, Amelia began the launch procedure, while Kate secured Ruby with restraints designed for cargo. Captain Amelia. A voice boomed over the ship's intercom. This is Commander Dax of Central Security. You are ordered to surrender immediately. Release the dragon specimen and submit to detention. Amelia ignored the command, focusing on the launch sequence. 20 more seconds. The shuttle bay doors began to close, an automatic security measure. Override code. Amelia, 743 emergency. Protocol. Amelia shouted at the ship's computer. The doors froze halfway closed, still wide enough for their shuttle to pass through. 10 seconds, she told Kate. Brace for emergency thrust. The shuttle bay doors suddenly began moving again, closing, despite her override. Someone's manually overriding from the bridge. Amelia realized the shuttle engines fired, propelling them forward toward the narrowing gap. Kate held tightly to Ruby. As the acceleration pushed them back into their seats, the shuttle scraped against the closing doors, metal shrieking against metal. For a terrible moment, Amelia thought they wouldn't make it. Then they were through, tumbling into open space. Amelia stabilized the craft, quickly setting course for Zalara 8, the distant moon that might offer temporary sanctuary. They'll follow, Kate said, looking back at the swift claw growing smaller behind them. Yes, but this shuttle has stealth capabilities, Amelia explained, activating several systems. Designed for covert evacuations during war. It will mask our heat signature and trajectory. Not perfectly, but enough to confuse pursuit. How long to the moon? 30 minutes at emergency speed. Amelia replied. Admiral Laurie's ship should reach this sector in approximately 90 minutes if we can hide until then. The shuttle's sensors beeped, warning of pursuit craft. 2 smaller vessels had launched from the Swift Claw security interceptors. Amelia identified. Faster than us, but less maneuverable, she adjusted course, flying toward a debris field, remnants of an old mining operation. The shuttle weaved between floating chunks of rock and metal. The interceptors followed, maintaining distance but not closing. They're being cautious, Amelia noted. Good. That buys us time. Kate was examining the shuttle's inventory. There are atmosphere suits here. 6 of them. Could Ruby survive on the moon's surface? Amelia shook her head. The temperature and radiation would kill her quickly. But the moon has cave systems, some with pockets of trapped atmosphere. They were surveyed for mining potential centuries ago. Do you know where these caves are? Amelia accessed the shuttle's database. The survey maps are old, but should be accurate enough. Can locate the nearest suitable entrance. As she worked, the interceptors suddenly accelerated, closing the gap. They're making their move, Amelia warned. Hold on. She pushed the shuttle into a series of evasive maneuvers, diving between larger debris pieces, using them as shields. The interceptors fired warning shots, energy beams flashing past their hull. They want to disable us, not destroy us, Amelia explained. They need Ruby alive. One interceptor moved to flank them, cutting off their path. Toward the moon, Amelia cursed in Zalarian, a rare break in her composure. Alternative route, she muttered, calculating quickly. There. She pointed to a dense cluster of debris. If we can reach that, we can use it for cover, circle around and approach the moon from behind. The shuttle engines whined at maximum output. Kate held Ruby secure as the craft shuddered under the strain. The debris cluster grew larger in their view screen. Almost there, Amelia said. A warning light flashed. The sensors had detected something new. A larger ship had entered the system. Is that the Admiral? Kate asked hopefully. Amelia checked the identification codes. No, something else. A harvester vessel used for collecting and processing dragon specimens. The implications were clear. Someone wanted Ruby badly enough to dispatch a specialized ship. General Beck is determined, Amelia muttered. The Harvester can track dragon biological signatures at much greater distances. Our stealth won't fool it. They reached the bay. Debris field the shuttle slipping between massive chunks of rock and metal. The interceptors fell back, unwilling to risk collision in such dangerous territory. We need a new plan, Kate said. Could we reach another planet? Not in this shuttle, Amelia replied. Our fuel reserves are limited and the Harvester would track us wherever we went. Ruby made a low rumbling sound, drawing their attention. Kate stroked the dragon's neck. She senses our distress. Amelia watched the bond between human and dragon, still amazed by it. Then an idea formed. The Harvester tracks dragon biological signatures. Yes, Kate confirmed. That's why our stealth isn't working. What if we gave it more signatures to track? Amelia suggested. Enough to confuse its sensors. Kate looked puzzled. But we only have one dragon. We have something else, Amelia said, pointing to a storage compartment. This shuttle carries biological samples, standard protocol for exploration vessels, tissue collection kits. Understanding dawned on Kate's face. Dragon scales, Ruby has shed several, we could use them. Exactly, Amelia confirmed. Disperse them throughout the debris field. Each one will register as a potential dragon signature. They worked quickly collecting the shed. Scales Kate had gathered. Several dozen in total. Amelia programmed the shuttle's external sample probes normally used for collecting specimens from hostile environments. Ready, she announced. Each probe will carry a scale deep into the debris field and release it. The Harvester's sensors will detect multiple dragon signatures. Like a shell game, Kate said. They won't know which is real. Precisely. Amelia launched the probes, watching on sensors as they dispersed throughout the debris field, each tiny point of light representing a probe carrying a dragon scale. The Harvester ship approached slowly, its massive form dwarfing their shuttle. It paused at the edge of the debris field, its sensors clearly detecting the multiple signatures. It's working, Kate whispered. They're confused. The Harvester deployed smaller craft drones designed to investigate and collect dozens of them, spreading throughout the debris field, each following a different dragon signature. Now's our chance, Amelia said, adjusting their course, while they're distracted. She guided the shuttle along the far edge of the debris field, keeping the largest pieces between them and the Harvester. Their path to Zalera 8 was clear. The moon grew larger in their view screen. A gray, barren world with a thin, toxic atmosphere. Kate prepared the environmental suits while Amelia located a suitable cave entrance. There, she said, pointing to a deep canyon near the equator. That rift leads to the cave system, according to the old survey data. There's a pocket of breathable air trapped deep inside, enough to sustain life temporarily. How temporarily? Kate asked. Hours, perhaps a day, Amelia admitted. But hopefully the Admiral will find us before then. The shuttle descended. Through the moon's thin atmosphere, buffeted by strong winds, Amelia's piloting skills tested to their limits. She guided the craft into the canyon, flying between towering rock formations. Finally spotting the cave entrance, a dark gash in the canyon. While it's tight, she warned. Very tight. The shuttle scraped against rock as she maneuvered it into the cave, the engines echoing loudly in the confined space. They flew deeper, following the cave's twisting path until it opened into a larger cavern. This is as far as we go, Amelia said, powering down the engines. The tunnel narrows ahead, too small for the shuttle. Ruby moved protectively in front of Kate, her body low in a defensive posture. The hole she had been digging forgotten. The rumbling in her throat grew louder. Amelia checked her scanner again. Multiple life forms approaching through the tunnel. We used large, very large. More dragons, Kate whispered. Are they aggressive? They're territorial, Amelia said, retrieving a small weapon from her suit, especially in their nesting grounds, which this appears to be. The scanner showed 5 distinct signatures moving closer, their path unmistakable. They were coming directly toward the air pocket. Options, Kate asked calmly, though Amelia could see fear in her eyes. Limited. Amelia admitted, we can't outrun dragons, and this chamber has only one entrance. Kate turned to Ruby, stroking the dragon's neck and speaking softly. The dragon responded, calming slightly, though remaining alert. Ruby isn't afraid exactly, Kate observed. She's excited, nervous, but not terrified. What does that mean? I'm not sure, Kate admitted, but animals typically fear predators. This feels different. A loud scratching sound came from the mineral membrane that sealed their chamber. Something was trying to get through. Claws scraped against the thin barrier. Ruby made a strange trilling sound, not the defensive growl from before, but something almost like a call. The membrane tore open. A massive dragon head pushed through, larger than Ruby with darker scales. Almost black in the dim light, its yellow eyes surveyed the chamber, fixing on Ruby. Don't move. Amelia whispered, her finger on her weapon's trigger. Any sudden movement could trigger an attack. The large dragon squeezed through the opening, its body dwarfing Ruby. Its head swung toward them, nostrils flaring. As it scented the air, Kate stood perfectly still, her hand still resting on Ruby's neck. It's male, Kate said quietly. Look at the crest pattern, different from Ruby's. The male dragon moved closer to Ruby, circling her. Slowly, Ruby remained still, her body language submissive yet alert. The male made a deep rumbling sound. Ruby responded with her own softer trill. They're communicating, Kate realized, not fighting. More dragons entered the chamber, 4 in total, plus the large male, each slightly different in coloration and size. They surrounded Ruby, some touching her with their snouts, others making various vocalizations. It's a social greeting, Kate said with growing excitement. They recognize her as one of their own. A lost member, returned Amelia, lowered her weapon, watching in amazement. The dragons largely ignored the 2 bipeds, focusing entirely on Ruby. The scene was unlike anything described in Zalarian research. Dragons were documented as solitary, aggressive creatures. Yet here was clear evidence of complex social behavior. Our understanding of dragons is completely wrong, Amelia said. They're not solitary predators. They're a social species. Kate nodded. Like wolves or elephants on Earth. Social structures, family units, maybe even cultural transmission of knowledge. The implications were staggering. Everything the Empire thought it knew about dragons was based on observations of captured individuals stressed and removed from their natural environment. Their true nature, their behaviors, their intelligence, all misunderstood. The large male dragon suddenly turned his attention to Kate and Amelia. His massive head lowering to their level, Amelia tensed, preparing to use her weapon if necessary. Wait, Kate said, putting a hand on Amelia's arm. Let me try something. She stepped forward slowly, making the same soft sound she had used with Ruby on the ship. Her hand extended, palm up, in a non-threatening gesture. The male dragon's nostrils flared, taking in her scent. He smells Ruby on me, Kate explained. He knows I'm connected to her. The dragon made a low rumbling sound, then, to Amelia's astonishment, gently pressed his snout against Kate's hand. Remarkable. Amelia breathed. He accepts you. He recognizes that Ruby trusts me, Kate said, continuing to make soft sounds as she carefully stroked the dragon's scales. And that means I'm not a threat. The other dragons seemed to take their cue from the male, backing away slightly, giving Kate and Amelia space. Ruby moved to Kate's side, nuzzling against her shoulder. I think I understand now, Kate said. This is a dragon colony, a permanent settlement. Not just random individuals, but an organized social group. Amelia was studying her scanner. The readings confirm it. There are more life signs deeper in the cave system. Dozens, perhaps hundreds, all dragons. The implications hit her like a physical blow. The Empire has been hunting them to extinction on Zalaria, but they've established a colony here, safe from hunters. Not just a colony, Kate corrected, pointing to the hole Ruby had been digging. Look. In the pit Ruby had created, several small objects were visible, spherical with a metallic sheen. Amelia moved closer, examining them with her scanner. Eggs, she confirmed. Dragon eggs, but different from those documented on Zolaria. These have a mineral coating, protection from the radiation perhaps. This isn't just a colony, Kate realized. It's a sanctuary, a place where dragons came to survive. When hunting pressure became too intense on Zolaria, they adapted, found a new home. The male dragon moved to the pit, nudging the exposed eggs, gently covering them with loose soil. Ruby helped, using her tail to push more dirt over the precious objects. They're protecting their future, Kate said softly. Just like any intelligent species would. Amelia felt a profound shift in her understanding. Not just of dragons, but of her people's relationship with them. For generations, the Empire had seen these creatures as resources, their scales harvested, their habitats destroyed, never considering they might be sentient beings with their own society, their own culture. We have to protect them, Amelia said with sudden conviction. All of them. Before Kate could respond, Amelia's communicator chimed, a secure frequency used only by High Command, Captain Amelia. Admiral Laurie's voice came through. We've tracked your shuttle to the moon. Are you secure? Amelia exchanged glances with Kate, then responded. Yes, Admiral. We are safe, and we've made a discovery far more significant than we realized. Explain. Not over communications. Amelia said. You need to see this yourself. It changes everything we thought we knew about dragons and about our harvesting operations. A pause. Then, very well, my ship has neutralized the harvester. We're in control of the situation for now. I'm sending a team to your location. Stand by for coordinates. The communication ended. Kate looked at Amelia with concern. Will she protect them? When she sees what we've found. Admiral Laurie values knowledge above all else, Amelia said. When she understands what we've discovered, that dragons are an intelligent social species with their own culture, she will have to acknowledge their rights. And if she doesn't? Amelia looked at the dragons gathered around them, at Ruby, who had so quickly found her place among her kind. Then we stay here, become their advocates, their protectors. We tell their story to anyone who will listen. Kate smiled. That sounds very human of you. Perhaps I've learned something from your species too. Amelia admitted 2 hours later. Admiral Laurie stood in the chamber, her normally composed features showing rare amazement, as Kate demonstrated the social interactions. Between dragons, the Admiral had come with only 2 aide scientists rather than soldiers, a good sign. This colony must have been here for centuries, one scientist said, examining scanner readings, far longer than our records indicate, completely self-sustaining, and completely unknown to the Empire. Admiral Laurie added, despite numerous surveys of this moon, they're intelligent enough to hide, Kate explained, to conceal their heat signatures deep in the cave system, where our scanners wouldn't detect them. Ruby and the male dragon Amelia had started calling Shadow were demonstrating complex behaviors, coordinated movements, communication through sounds and body language. Watch this, Kate said, picking up a small rock. She tossed it to Ruby, who caught it, then immediately passed it to Shadow, who passed it to another dragon. The simple game of catch continued through the group, learned behavior. Admiral Laurie observed, not instinctual, and shared among the group. That suggests cultural transmission, advanced cognition. They're people, Admiral, Amelia said directly. Not human, not Zolarian, but people nonetheless, with their own society, their own rights. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment, watching the dragons. This changes everything, Captain. The harvesting operations, the energy infrastructure of the Empire, all built on the exploitation of an intelligent species. But it also presents an opportunity, Kate suggested, for a new relationship, a partnership, rather than exploitation. She explained their original discovery about shed scales. their increased energy potential when naturally dropped rather than forcibly harvested. A sanctuary, Admiral Laurie mused, not for our benefit but for theirs, with the beneficial side effect of sustainable scale collection. Exactly. Amelia confirmed. Both species benefit. The dragons live freely protected. The Empire gets a renewable energy source more efficient than what they currently harvest. The Admiral turned to her. Aides begin detailed documentation. Everything you see, everything you can measure. We need irrefutable evidence to present to the High Command. To Amelia, she said, not everyone will accept this easily. Captain General Beck and his allies have built fortunes on dragon harvesting. They will resist vigorously. Then we must be more determined, Amelia replied, more committed to the truth. There will be consequences, the Admiral warned. For your actions, your career. I understand, Amelia said, and I accept them.